If we have widespread, undermining evasion of law, then we have chaos. It is the solemn duty of every respectable citizen to work for the building of better youth, of youth fortified by the proper type of education, and of moral guidance against false temptations. It is the duty of... Let us really visualize this gigantic army of 3,500,000 criminals. I am tonight in one of the largest cities of the United States. If the law-abiding citizens of this city should be suddenly removed, and in their place there should be substituted an army of forgers, thieves, rapists, kidnappers, plunderers, bank robbers, and murderers, it would only equal the crime population of America. That is crime. To combat crime, there must be a constant... Crime should not be a primary factor in our common schools. It should be listed as even more important than reading and writing and arithmetic. It should be a motto of all such organizations as the Boys' Clubs of America that any school which fails to pound and pound and pound upon the fact that honesty is necessary, that honesty is vital, and that crime is filthy, is failing in its task to properly educate the children with whose future it has been entrusted. There is no magic to the formula of crime prevention. It amounts only to honesty in effort, honesty in office, honesty in law enforcement, honesty in punishment, and the constant insistence upon honesty everywhere about us. It is because parents have done a very good job of carrying this world through many a trying year. Coming to this earth, another being was forced to face the shadowy portals of death. It is supposed to be one of our sacred memories that it is part of our American tradition that this never be forgotten. When we look upon the now tired hands of an old America, that I must tell you that tonight, throughout this country, the hands of 700,000 such persons may be raised to eyes which are dim in Belleau-Wood and Chateau-Thierry, who died in defense of America and who are remembered as heroes. These women, these 700,000 mothers, they too have died. The person who engages in manipulating public offices for personal aggrandizement could be designated. It would separate honest politicians, upon whom we are, of the activities of persons who desire them to be ineffective and inefficient, and they will purge themselves in a month and again become proper protectors of law and order. Rid appropriations of the private greed, the private aims, and the private desires for revenge by venal politicians, and you will rid law enforcement bodies of the old man of the sea who hangs heavily upon their shoulders, dragging them down into the mud and slime of disrepute when otherwise they might be crusading along a vital battlefront of law enforcement. Rid America of the renegade politics due primarily to the hampered law enforcement, which in turn has sent the hands of 700,000 mothers to cover their eyes, that they no longer may be haunted by the picture of their child in the cell block. It is a terrifying fact to me that many parents must turn to the mirror to find the true reason why their boy or girl has been engulfed in crime. All too often, in the solitude of sorrow, when the heavy hand of law has descended, and when he first robs a store, when he then engages in a holdup, and when suddenly the terrible news must teach them that the future of America eats at their table and lives in their home and is under their protection, must be made to realize that a home is, after all, a cradle of endeavor. It can be good endeavor or it can be bad endeavor, as the parents care to make it. And we who can think clearly must view the picture of disaster which faces us and consecrate ourselves to the crusade of education, not only for children, but also for parents.
Mr. Hoover, we are very grateful to you for that splendid, inspiring address. I think I voiced the sentiment of everybody here when we say that America is proud of you. I shall now read a telegram from
our distinguished guests here tonight. Now, this medal, there's only been one other medal given like it, and that was given to John Hayes Hammond a little over a year ago, just before he died. John Hayes Hammond, for about 18 years, was vice president of this national organization and gave his time and money generously. And he was given this distinguished medal. So the second medal of this kind is going to be given tonight to one of our distinguished guests. You know, we had a contest, a poll in the New York Boys Club, of which there are 6,000 members. And this poll showed that who the favorite of all the boys was. And we put the question to the boys this way: if you weren't yourself, who would you like to be? And you know that the first choice was a cartoonist, a famous cartoonist, who had spoken to the boy, J.Edgar Hoover. And you know, he's done something outside of these official duties. J.Edgar Hoover. John Edgar Hoover, Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Department of Justice, able lawyer, efficient organizer, capable executive, relentless pursuer of public enemies, fearless upholder of the law, and indefatigable worker for crime prevention. In recognition of your distinguished services on behalf of the boyhood of America, in dramatizing law enforcement, so that in the minds of thousands of boys, the agents of the federal government have become their heroes in place of gangsters and felons. Your modesty, your integrity of purpose, your unselfish loyalty to your task, your indifference to danger have enshrined you in the hearts of the youth of the nation to the end that by your example they have been made better citizens.
It is with a keen feeling of gratification and of honor, and with a far keener sense of responsibility, that I address the sponsors and friends of the Boys Clubs of America. The gratification is founded upon something very close to my heart: the realization that day by day there is a greater awakening to the tremendous necessity of building a bulwark against the ravages of crime during the early ages of its potential victims. Once the tentacles of crime have seized the youth, once its filth has soiled the possibilities of a young man's existence, once the dirt and grime of jails and reformatories, of criminal associations and hideouts, the mental stench of degrading influences and companionships have placed their stamp upon the easily molded mentality of youth, there arises an almost insurmountable task for those who labor toward the building of a better citizenship. Crime is to a degree indelible. It leaves vicious scars, both for the perpetrator as well as for the victim. The progress of youth, from his first semi-innocent participation in the minor infractions of a street corner gang, through the weary course of police stations, juvenile courts, higher places of justice, reformatories, penitentiaries, and perhaps even to the execution chamber, is such that it seems to continue and to contaminate everyone with whom the victim comes in contact, the innocent as well as the guilty. Do you suppose that the honest, called public rats, are proud of the fact that one of their clan has gone through the activities of major crime and extending over vast areas? There are 3,500,000 criminals actively at work in this country today. We shall dispense for the moment with millions of petty crimes which often are not even reported. The main picture, the forbidding one, is that 1,500,000 felonies, major infractions, crimes worthy of penitentiary punishment, which each year are committed within the boundaries of the United States. I shall digress for a moment to point out the effect of a single crime. A youth commits a murder.